How we doing today? Back at it, you know what I'm saying? False Opinions podcast. Episode like 4 or 5 or something, I don't know. 4, I think, maybe 5, something. Um yeah. So today I mean, you guys already know what we're talking about cuz you can see it on the sidebar. You might be able to see it in my tabs, all that stuff, but quite a few things today. And then the big thing at the end, which is the mid-season finale of The Walking Dead. We'll be covering that, and it is a pretty big episode, pretty important episode. But we'll talk about that more when we actually get there. First, I want to talk about Pokemon Let's Go. Right now, if you're a fan of Pokemon, then this was a game that it was announced and we saw it, and I think most Pokemon fans weren't really excited for it. You know, as a Pokemon fan from the start, I was excited for a new Pokemon game, but one that had the Let's Go, like the Go mechanics. I never really got into Pokemon Go, and I definitely didn't think that a Go version of Pokemon would make sense on like a console. I mean, the Switch is both. It's a handheld and console, but I just didn't think it'd make sense to have like a full game like around that idea. I haven't played the game yet, so this is all I'm not actually going to be talking about my experience with the game. I just want to talk about the overall like consensus on the game and what that means for the future of Pokemon, because we are getting another Pokemon game next year, and this one they described as like the more mainline Pokemon, like the traditional game. Presumably it's Gen 8, I think we're on now, or we will be, like the next gen is Gen 8, I think. Maybe Gen 7, 8, right? Because Sun and Moon was 7. I didn't play Sun and Moon because I didn't really think it was that cool. The one thing I did like about Sun and Moon, though, was the like Alolan forms. I thought that was really cool. That was a really nice way to like, what's the word? There's not a word for it. To like, I don't know, like bring some new life into the old characters that we all like. And I would really like if they did that still, or again with the new gen. It won't be a Alolan form unless there's Alola in the new gen, but that'd be weird. But I would like if they did different designs. But yeah, so the thing I want to talk about these games is that it's like it's gotten like really good critical and commercial reception, which is crazy from what we thought it was going to get in the beginning. Like, people really like these games, which has kind of swayed me to I might end up picking up one of these, because I was on the boat when it came out of like, nah, that's not for me, and then I was really excited when I heard that there's gonna be a one coming out 2019 as well. I was like, I'm just gonna wait for that one. And then I read more about it, and then and then it came out, and it looks like it might be good. I mean, I've read some reviews on it, and I've heard some people's opinions on it, and it definitely is easier, I guess. They say that if you've never gotten into Pokemon before, this is a good one to come into if you are trying to ease yourself into, especially if you're easing yourself into like RPGs. This is like the one to get into. Some of the things that I really like about this game, about what people have said about the game, again, I haven't played it, but I do plan on playing it, is like, apparently, like, I think all your Pokemon gain XP when you fight. Battles are gone, which kind of sucks. Well, Pokemon battles are gone, like battling other Pokemon, like wild Pokemon. obviously, are gone, which I was kind of mad at first, but I kind of like the idea of them just going like to the core, or like kind of picking some bones to just be the bare bones of the game, and just be like, this game is all about catching Pokemon. You want to catch all of them. It's not necessarily about fighting each one. It's not necessarily about grinding. I mean, there's grinding elements in it, because there's grinding elements in Go, but it's different. You know what I mean? But trainer battles are still there. I do still really like that. Or not still. I like that you can see all the Pokemon. It's not random anymore, which was always kind of annoying. It definitely made it feel more grindy, and grinding can be good in some senses, but with that, it was just like it's just like crawling, a lot of the time. So, but overall, like, the thing that I find the most interesting, and the thing that I really want to talk about, or just maybe not talk about it a lot, but just, it's like, this is weird, because this isn't the game that, like, hardcore fans want, and people are still liking it. So then what I find interesting is how this game could affect Pokemon in the future, with like with the new one coming out next year. It's supposed to be more hardcore, it's supposed to be more like traditional, all that stuff. I wonder what they're gonna bring over from this game to that one, because there is a lot of quality of life stuff that apparently is in this game that is amazing, and like, I'm just wondering if they're gonna bring that over. Like, I'm wondering if the new one is gonna look like this one, if like, I would really like for them to keep the you can see all the Pokemon. You don't have to guess which one you're gonna find, go into. It seems like it's a lot easier to find shinies in this game too, which is interesting. I've just seen a lot of people on like social media, Reddit, all that stuff, just be posting their shinies that they've caught, and like, I've never seen that with a Pokemon game coming out before, where everyone's like, look at the shiny I got. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There's not really a whole lot I want to delve into. I just find it interesting that people, I just really wanted to mention that, how interesting it is that people really, really like this game, and what it means for the next game. And, because me personally, with all the stuff I've read and seen and watched about this game and everything, it seems like the perfect game is like somewhere in the middle of this and what the games have been for the past 20 years. Because there's still some stuff in here where it's like, all right, like, there's still some stuff that's a little too easy, it looks like. And I don't know if people, like hardcore, day one fans of the game, of the franchise, are going to like that. But I don't know. If anyone out there has played it, I would love to hear what you think of it. And, stuff in it that you like, stuff in it you didn't like. Because, like, yeah, it definitely feels like, it definitely seems like it's like Pokemon Light, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. With it being easier, with there being not as much grinding, with there not being, they still don't have HMs. They cut that out, which is amazing. With the way you level up your Pokemon, the way you get the moves and stuff, with the bring over from Go. I don't know. I just find it really, really interesting that people like this game, and people like it a lot. And I just wonder how that's going to affect not only like the look and feel and mechanics of the next game, but also how people are going to receive the next game. Because if the general consensus on this one is everyone likes it, I wonder if people are going to like it when we go back. It's because it's probably not like the 2019 game probably isn't going to be exactly like the games have been. I'm sure they've improved stuff. I'm sure that but I'm just not sure. Like, I don't know what I don't know if this game at all affects the next one. I don't know how done they are with the next Pokemon game. You know, I don't know if they have time to see some stuff they really like and be like, oh shoot, I didn't know people were gonna like this. Let's put it in this game. Which would really suck if like some of the really dope stuff in this game isn't in the next one. Yeah, that's gonna be interesting if that happens. But yeah, I don't know. That's really all I wanted to say. It's really not much. I just wanted to point out the fact that people really like this game, and I want to know what this game means for the future of the franchise, because this is probably the most different a mainline game has ever been. And like, I guess people are saying that like this isn't really like a main series, it's more of like a spin-off, which yeah, okay. I don't not agree with that. But it's still very interesting of how this game could affect the future, like this game could affect the main line, where I don't feel like any other spin-off has ever really done that. Because they've done like the ones on like N64 and GameCube, which I don't really think did anything to the main line. They have like the mystery dungeon, and they have the Pokemon Ranger, stuff like that. So there's Pokemon Snap too, which I don't think people really liked it when it came out, but for some reason it's now come back, and it's like cult following of like Pokemon Snap is like the best Pokemon game. It's very weird. Yeah, that's really all I want to talk about with that. Because I'm a big fan of Pokemon, and just like the like roller coaster of like emotions and feelings and attitude toward this game is insane, and I just really don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing for the next game. Yeah, just let me know what you guys think, whether you played the game or not. If you have played it, I would love to hear what your opinions are on it. What you like, what you didn't like. And if you think this will affect your opinion on the next one, which is, again, supposed to be more traditional and everything like that. So, yes. Also, let me know if you caught a shiny Pokemon and, like, how long it took you, because there's some people who caught theirs in, like, a few hours, and there's some who had to do, like, days. Just, like, grinding away. So, I don't know. The next thing is Lion King, right? So I'm a big fan of Lion King. That was one of my favorite movies. Probably one of my favorite movies growing up. I still love Disney now. I love pretty much all their movies, I guess. Or like, nowadays, I haven't seen all their movies. It's not a madman. Yes. So what I want to talk about was, first, real quick, I want to know what you guys' opinions. This is a wild picture. What your opinions on this movie is, like, this is kind of going back to what I talked about, I think, last week with, like, Shrek, and, like, if we need this, or if this is just a way for Disney to make money. Like, I do kind of like them making this in the sense that, the original one came out years and years ago, so, kids nowadays might not have seen that, or they might not appreciate it for what it is, and now they're actually experiencing this movie coming out. So I think that's cool. But away from that, there was this big controversy when the trailer came out, because they're calling it live action when it's not live action. It's CGI, right? And I don't know. Like, as a big fan of animation, and I like to peek kind of in and out of that whole community and everything. I don't really have a problem with people calling it live action. I mean, I think that there's the general people don't really care about what a movie is classified under. Even if we called it animation, I don't really think they would really understand even what that means. I think that most people just don't understand that CGI is animation. It's like, because they don't, I think most people don't use those words the way they're supposed to be used, which I guess could, be the reason why animation community was mad, because, they're like, oh, this is actually us. And it's like, yeah, you're right. Like, animators did this, they didn't get real lions and shit to, do this. But, I'm like, I don't think people are taking away from the people who made this credit when they say live action. I just think when people see realistic looking stuff, they're just like, oh, live action. Because to them, live action doesn't mean real people. It just means the look. It doesn't actually mean what it is. It just means the look of what something is. Because, like, there's people online that, kind of like half joking when they say that, Infinity War is an animated film. Which, I mean, it isn't, it really uses real people, but, like, all the different effects, whether it comes to different powers or it comes to, Thanos himself is CGI, a bunch of characters in there are CGI, a bunch of, probably most of the settings and backgrounds are just CGI, green screen, whatever. So it's like, Infinity War is like 90% animated, but, it's like, it doesn't really matter. Like, to me, it doesn't really matter that you call it animated or CGI or live action or whatever. Like, I feel like as long as the people who did it are getting credit and, like, getting the praise and be like, hey, you did this, good job, you know what I mean? Like, without you, we couldn't do this. But, I mean, I definitely understand the kind of turmoil that it's caused, and people are like, we Disney should rename it to the animated, you know what I mean? But, I don't know. I don't really care that much, honestly. I would love to hear what your guys' opinions are if them calling it CGI or them calling it live action when it's really CGI, which is the animation, if that really bugs you or not. Again, as a person who in a few years is going to be graduating and becoming an animator, hopefully, it doesn't really bother me that much. I mean, I didn't even think about it when it first happened until I started reading stuff and people were mad about it, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. It is animation, yeah. And, like, part of me at first was, like, mad of, like, yeah, we should, they should be calling it animated instead of live action. But then I thought about it and I was like, I don't really think it matters that much, as long as people are getting the credit they deserve for being a part of the team that makes it. You know what I mean? If they weren't, then that'd be a different story, I feel like. But I feel like they are, and, like, it's also, like, how the internet is. Some people take it too far and they, like, use that little thing as a reason to not like, watch the movie. It's like, oh, we're gonna boycott the movie because of this. It's like, well, I mean, you don't have to watch the movie, for one, and for two, I don't really think that's a reason. Like, I think Disney is one of the leaders, if not Disney is one of, if not the most popular, the most well-known animation company, at the very least in America, you know what I'm saying? So I really don't think they're ignorant to the fact that this is animation. I just think that they're smart enough to know that people, the general population, will consider this live action, not because it's actual animals talking and stuff, but because it looks real, instead of the other one. I think there's a screen, instead of something like this where it's like, all right, well, this isn't real, this is clearly a drawing. But, like, with so I don't know. And the one last thing about this is the trailer was like, some people, I should say, is that some people are looking at this and they're like, the trailer, we haven't seen the movie, but the trailer is like one for one the exact same shit in the first movie. And so there's some people who have pointed out, like, shot for shot. And people are kind of skeptical of the movie now because they're saying that this means that the whole movie could possibly be shot for shot the same movie that we saw in 1994, which then upsets some people because it's like you're just making the same movie again, you know what I mean? Like, with other things that are remakes or reimagines or whatever it is, like, you usually change something, you know what I mean? And if this movie is the same movie that I saw as a kid, then what's the point of seeing it? Like the only reason, if that's true, the only reason to see this movie is because it looks different, because the art style is different. That's the only thing different with this movie, if that's true. Um, for me, like how I feel about it, I don't know. I'm not really sure yet. I'm not gonna see opening night. Um, I'll probably wait honestly, because I think that might affect my opinion on if I'm gonna watch it or not. Because I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it to like. I don't know, like if it is the same exact movie again, just using CGI instead of hand drawn or computer drawn. I don't know exactly what they use, but if it is the same exact movie, I might not see it, because it's just like I can just look at clips online of how good the lion looks, or how good the monkey looks, or oh, this looks cool. Like, yeah, but like other than that, I know the story. I know what happens. Like, I don't think I'm gonna really feel anything going into this because it's the same story. You know what I mean? Like, I'll probably try to catch a few clips of like my favorite, my favorite or the most memorable moments for me in the movie. Just to see him in the new. But I don't know. I don't really know if I want to pay money to go to the movie theater and watch a movie I've seen before, and not only a movie I've seen before, a movie that I've seen like 20 years ago. Well, not 20 years ago, but I don't know, like 15 years ago probably is when I probably first saw it, somewhere around there. Because I was not alive in 1984, so. But yeah, I'd like to know what you guys think about that too, because I don't know if it is the same exact movie. Are you guys gonna go see it? And if you are or are not, why? Because again, my reason is if it is the same exact movie, probably not gonna go see it. Same movie, I've seen it before. And like I've seen it many times. Like I know that movie pretty well. And I just don't know if it's worth the extra, I don't know, $10+ for a movie ticket to just go see a movie, sit down for an hour and a half or however long it is. The same movie I saw 15 years ago. It's like just because it's different. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the thing, is just because it's in a different art style. Is it worth it to go see it? But I'm not mad if anyone else does. I want to make sure that that's clear, that I don't think that anyone who does see it, if it is shot for shot the same, like they're dumb or they're wasting their money or anything. Like, no, like you can go see it. I don't care. Like, I totally get it. Like it looks cool and everything, but I just don't know if I am going to spend my money to go see that. There's probably something else that I haven't seen before playing that I would rather spend my money on. But so yeah. Next thing is Stephen Hillenburg, right? Now, if you didn't know, I don't know. Today's Friday, so a few days ago, maybe almost a week ago. No, it was less than a week ago. It was only a few days ago. Stephen Hillenburg died at 57 years old from ALS, I think it was. Yeah, ALS. If you couldn't tell, if you didn't already know, and you also couldn't tell, he was the creator of Spongebob. And yeah, that really sucked, to put it to, as an understatement. It really sucked because, I mean, other people dying doesn't really affect other people dying, but, we have lost a lot of people this year, a lot of, not only famous people, but like creative people. I mean, just not too long ago, Stan Lee died, and he was also one of the he was definitely one of the most influential creators, or most influential just like creative people, of our time, probably, with all the stuff he's done with Marvel and comics and all that, and then bringing in different media, including the MCU, which making like billions of dollars. So, but Stephen Hillenburg was even probably closer to me, probably hit me a little closer, just because again, I don't want to be disrespectful and be comparing people's deaths, because that's not really that's not really a necessary thing to do. But with Stan Lee, like, it of course hit me because my parents were real into like comics and comic book characters, superheroes, especially many of his that Stanley created and everything. And I grew up loving Marvel, like not really comics, but Marvel specifically, and all the movies and a bunch of the different TV shows and all that stuff. But SpongeBob is probably my favorite show of all time. It has been ever since I was a kid. And it still probably is today, even though I'm 20 years older than I was when I was 1 or 0 or whatever. And I've seen 20 more years of stuff on TV, both, whether it be cartoons or anime or live action stuff. But SpongeBob is still probably my favorite show ever. And it's just rough, because he was pretty young. 57 isn't it's not 20, it's not like, but it's also not 80 or 90, you know what I mean? Like, he still definitely had probably at least another couple decades of creativeness in him, yeah, I mean, it also sucks that he died from ALS. That was, it wasn't natural. It wasn't like just natural causes. It was a very unfortunate, thing for him to have. And I just want to take the time to like celebrate him and be like, he's great, which is again an understatement. Which again, him creating SpongeBob and that being probably the most popular, TV cartoon of all time, definitely created one of the most recognizable cartoon characters of all time, if not the, so, and it was such a good show. I mean, it still is, I definitely agree that it has fallen off a little bit since the earlier seasons, but I still think it's amazing. Like, I think if anyone who, watched it from the beginning and is today being like, oh, it sucks now, I'm like, no, it doesn't suck. It's still better than, even now, this current season, or, whatever, if you argue that this current season is the lowest it's ever been, SpongeBob at its lowest is still better than at least half of the cartoons at their highest. It's a really, really good show. It's really, like the formula is so simple, but like the like different stories it can tell and the different characters it can just seamlessly introduce, and you just be like, yep, that's a character, and that is their like quirkiness to them, and yep, how are they going to interact with the main cast, and it just like completely suspends all your disbeliefs, all your beliefs, all of the leaves off the tree, and it's just like this is amazing, so but yeah, not too much more to say. I don't want to make anyone sad or anything, but oops. But it really sucks to lose creative people. It sucks to lose anyone. Especially if they were a good person and they died super young, which is 57. 57 is almost 3 times older than me, but it's still too young for someone who didn't really and who seemingly didn't do anything to deserve to go out that young. But his show, his work, I don't actually know anything else he's done. Oh, I do know one thing. He wrote and he was very important to Rocko's Modern Life, which I was never a big fan of Rocko's Modern Life, and I think it was because it was slightly before my time. Again, I was born in 98, so I was not really cognizant until I was like 5, you would say, is when you really start knowing stuff. So it's like 03, and Rocko's Modern Life came out 93, 96, so it ended 2 years before I was born. So I was, I still caught like the reruns of it and everything, but I wasn't in it like I was in SpongeBob, you know what I'm saying? So SpongeBob SquarePants movie, by the way, amazing animated movie, fantastic. Second one, not as good, but still not bad. Anyone who says this is bad is a demon and needs to so yeah, What was I gonna talk about? Oh yeah, I wanted to see what other stuff he did. Filmography. Oh no, this is just him acting. Oh no, so yeah, this is Square Roots, the story of SpongeBob SquarePants. Oh, Square Roots. That's so clever of a name, yo. Yeah, so that's really the only two things he did: Rocco's and SpongeBob. He was Potty. Oh my god, I didn't know that. He was the parrot that that's on what's his name? What the fuck is that? What's the what's the pirate's name in SpongeBob? It's like Fishtail or something. I don't know what the fuck his name is. Let's Google it real quick. SpongeBob pirate. Patchy, right? Because he has an eye patch. Okay, SpongeBob, I see you. Okay, so yeah, that's really that. Um, you know, that's I don't know. I just wanted to make sure I get that in there this week because I don't talk about every celebrity who dies because you know I don't particularly care about every celebrity that dies. I don't mean for that to sound heartless, but like there's a lot of people in life that when they go they've never really affected you. So like I obviously don't wish death on anyone. That's a heartless that's some heartless shit to do, to wish death on someone. But yeah, there are some of them definitely. When they were alive, they affected me very, very greatly. I mean, Stephen Hillenburg is probably one of the reasons why I want to draw cartoons for my for the rest of my life. He's probably one of, if not the biggest reason that I want to do that. So because the way he could just create characters and write a story is fucking crazy. Let me know in the comments where how much he affected you. If you're a fan of SpongeBob, how you discovered it, and what were some of your favorite episodes or like even just moments of SpongeBob, because there were so many, especially in those first few seasons when it was like hitting its stride and it was like this is the greatest cartoon of all time. You know what I'm saying? So please let me know, because that and last thing before I go into Walking Dead is I wonder what's gonna happen with SpongeBob now. Of course, now that the creator is gone, there's gonna be rumors and stuff of SpongeBob ending. I don't think they're just gonna end SpongeBob because he died. Because there's two schools of thought, right? There's one is end it on a high note. And be done with it, since the creator isn't here anymore to like give his input, and the people will, complain that, oh, it's changed, Steven isn't here anymore, oh, the show's changed, it's gotten so much worse, it's gotten so far from what it was. And then there's the other train of thought of, no, keep it going, the entire team is still here, the team that Steven trusted with the show when he was alive, so I'm sure that they can do a good job when they're still here and like keep it going and for like his legacy and stuff like that. So two schools of thought, not really mad at either of them. I don't really know, like I don't really have an opinion on which one they should do. I think both have their pros and cons, but either way, like whatever happens now is not going to ruin the show that already exists. You can still go watch it, so I just really don't want any decision they make to cause people to have like an uproar over why this decision made the show worse, because I don't think you can make a show worse that's so storied and so like cemented in time. But yeah, so that's that. Walking Dead. Walking Dead. Let's turn the frown upside down. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, for all of you that don't care about The Walking Dead, this is my weekly spiel where I tell you that, you know, if you're gonna turn it off because you don't care about The Walking Dead, that's cool. This is you know, that's fine. After this, but this does mean, so it could be good news for you, this does mean that next week and on, I'm going to start doing something a little different. Definitely a new show, because Walking Dead is over until next year. I don't know when. I think it usually comes back in like February, I think. So I have a couple months of another show probably be able to get through. This is also when I'm going to start doing more shows, more different shows, not just one show. There's quite a few changes coming that you guys will be aware of probably by the end of next week, probably, if I had to guess. But I don't have a schedule. You know, I don't have a piece of paper that says when this all will happen, but there's going to be quite a few changes, all for the better, hopefully. Also means more content, so yeah. But all in all, if you're not going to watch if you're about to tune off because of The Walking Dead, please put in the comments any shows you want me to watch. I already have a few written down that I would love to do, but, you know, the more the merrier. Like, you know, there's lots of hours in the day, lots of time for me to be able to watch shows. So, if there's one that you specifically want me to watch, I'm not going to know unless you put it in the comments or tweet at me. So please do that. Or don't. I mean, you can do whatever you want. So, but thank you for listening this far. And hope to catch you on the next one, I guess. Or not, you know. I mean, life is life. Water flows the way it flows until it freezes, I guess. So yeah. Bye to you all for now. And now for the people who are here for The Walking Dead. This episode was crazy. Like, if you haven't seen it, you gotta watch it. Like, I'm gonna skim through it, but that's not the same thing. Like, me skimming through it is for the people who either don't want to watch the show and they're just getting it from me, or for the people who've already seen it and they need a recap. But if you are actively watching the show and you have not seen the episode yet, you need to watch it. And then come back, hit play on the podcast again, and then listen to me, because this is a really good season finale, I think. But we are going to skim through it real quick. So here we go. How did last episode end? Real quick. I don't know. I forget that. I was gonna recap last episode, but I don't care about it. So, yeah. So, the Walker thing happened, right? And yeah. And so right now we're at. They are trying to find Eugene, because they found out Rosita was with Eugene. Eugene had like a twisted ankle or something like that, and Rosita was like, we left Eugene, he's back there, blah blah. She's knocked out right now, she's still recovering, all that stuff. So they sent a search party in Aaron, Jesus, and Daryl, and here we are. They have just seen a Walker herd just kind of milling about, like there's a shit ton of them. There's like probably 100, 200, something like that. There's a lot of them. And they're just kind of milling about, and they make the comment of, that's weird, basically. That walkers don't do that. Walkers don't just chill. You know, they are always moving. They're always moving, which is one of the things that makes, you know, the idea of a zombie kind of like ominous. Of like they will always be coming for something to eat, some kind of flesh, some kind of meats, you know, all that stuff. So but they leave because there's going to be a storm, and they're like, whatever, there's a group of them, they're not, you know, they don't see us, they're not coming for us, leave them for now, who cares, we'll just go around them, we'll, you know, we gotta find Eugene, basically. And then I think this is the title sequence, right? Yeah, title sequence, cool. Oh no, it's gone. Yes, then we see, I almost said Daryl. We see, What's his name? Negan. I said Morgan. Fuck. He's apparently getting some sessions with Gabriel. Trying to talk, trying to get better, trying to get through to him. And it's not working, pretty much. Negan kind of just spells it out for Gabriel. Says, hey, I appreciate you coming down here. You're the only one who really does come down here and talk to me. But whatever you're trying to do, you're trying to, like, get to know me. You're trying to break through to who I really am. You're trying to help me with, my brain and stuff. It's not working. I'm sorry. It's not working. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think that this scene ends with Negan kind of getting in Gabriel's head, because Negan starts talking about this window. This window's great. How people kind of forget that Negan is there, and he says that that's when he can hear a bunch of really interesting things. And he then mentions Rosita, basically insinuating that he heard Rosita talking the other day, and Gabriel's like, oh yeah, because if you didn't know, Gabriel and Rosita are kind of a thing now. And Gabriel basically kind of cuts him off and says, hey, listen, I don't need you telling me about how Rosita feels about me. Basically trying to shut him down and be like, listen, I don't care what you say. I like Rosita. I know Rosita likes me. There's nothing that you can say that she said about me to me that'll make me pissed off, basically. And then Negan claps back with a very Negan response. He basically says, who said that she was talking about you? Kind of trying to get under his skin and kind of put in his head that Rosita maybe likes somebody else and not Gabriel. And that's when Gabriel gets kind of tight and he storms off. And Negan just kind of like smiles and says, haha, got him, basically. And so yeah. We then see they're outside. Oh yeah, and right there at the very end, before we cut to here, where we're at the hilltop right now, Gabriel sees that something's kind of going on, and someone walks by, comes by, and Gabriel says, hey, what's going on? And who are they or whatever, and I'm pretty sure it's a woman, and she says, oh, those are people from Hilltop or something. I don't quite remember, but she says that, oh yeah, Rosita is at Hilltop. She, they found her and she's injured or something like that. And also Eugene is gone or something. And that kind of triggers Gabriel, because he's like, oh no, my love. What do you mean she's hurt? And, what is she okay, basically? And they can't tell him because they don't know, basically. So, and then it comes back here. People are freaking out. The riders are freaking out. They're like, oh my god, people on horses, they're coming. And everyone in the gardens are like, oh my god, leave. It basically kind of was reminiscent of what was his name? I don't know his name. I don't know history. Paul Revere, right? Paul Revere was the guy who stormed through on a horse and said that the British were coming, which found out that's probably not true, that he did that. And there were a few reasons why, but the one reason that I remember the most is that when the colonies first broke off and like they were like here in America in quotation marks, is that he apparently wouldn't have referred to them as British, because of like they still thought of themselves as British, like they were still a British colony. They weren't like America yet, so like why would you call people that you don't care for British if you also consider yourself? Anyway, I don't know, I'm not a history major. I don't know why I brought that up. I'm sure I was completely wrong in that, but so yeah. And I was really confused because I was like, don't they know that Michonne and them are coming? But I guess not, which is weird. But so yeah, very wary. Yeah, so they obviously have no idea. But everything kind of tense for now. Like, oh, we're here, there's that. You know what I mean? regular precautions. And Michonne decides to throw away all the weapons. Magna's tight because she's like, we just got these weapons back. But once they come in, they're kind of fine. There's still some tension there. And I am totally on the side of all the tension that we see in this show that involves Michonne is Michonne's fault. Because Michonne is the problem right now. And I hate to say it because I like Michonne. But she's the reason that everyone is so tense around her, because she's really the one who's been like being very standoffish with all the other communities, and she kind of explains it later with Carol, and I'll mention that again once that comes up. But she talks about how like each individual community is so big now that we have to take care of our own. We don't have time to like our own places are too big to worry about other places, and I completely disagree with that. But whatever. Michonne says that we have people, and I was hoping that you guys would take them, and Tara was basically just like, sure. I have to wait for Jesus to come back to talk to him about it. Talk to him about it first, and also you guys have to earn your keep, but I guess why not, basically. And I think Rosita also breaks to Michonne that, I think she's the one who breaks the news that, because Michonne knew that Rosita was there, but I think Tara's the one who tells her, Eugene was also with Rosita, and Aaron is here. So yeah, it's pretty funny how Michonne is like the head of security, and she doesn't seem to know what's happening with her own people, because Rosita, Eugene, and Aaron are all her own people.
Eugene's missing?
Yeah, Eugene's missing?
Like the old gangs back.
So yeah, that happens. Michonne is still... And here's the thing about Michonne, right? Is that like, I love Michonne. She's great. But like, she's being too cautious. And like, I don't know. She's like refusing to, like, I kind of get her being wary around Maggie and like even Daryl, because she might, even if she doesn't want to, her subconscious might kind of blame them for Rick dying. But like, I don't know, like, I just look at this and I'm like, what? Like, you should just, like, these guys are your family. Like the original Rick's group, which went through so much together, and like, when you talk to Tara, it's just like, hey, like, it's just like, you've gone through so much with her, like, so much. There's been so much. You guys met in season 3 or whatever, at or season 3, 4 or whatever it is, at the governor, and I don't know, like, and that goes back to the theory of that something else happened within those 6 years. Like, something happened. We see like the scars on Michonne, we see the scars on Daryl. I'm still in the mindset that something happened. Maybe nothing did. Maybe nothing actually happened, but like, it has to be something, right? Because those shots were deliberate. Like, it deliberately focused in on the scar, the huge scar on Michonne's back. And there's some people that said it was like a C-section, but like, you don't normally do a C-section on your back, I don't think. Like, I don't know. But I definitely think something else happened that caused them to be this wary. Because it can't just be that. It can't just be that Rick died, that she's acting like this. Like, I can see her acting like it for a while at first, of just like grieving and just like, it can't just be that you're shutting yourself off from everyone, because it's like, you can get help from people. People need your help. Like, we can be like in a freaking web of awesomeness. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I hope that she comes around at some point, because if they could all just, if all the communities could just get together and be on the same page and help each other out, like, they would be so much stronger than they are by themselves, you know? And I really think that Michonne is the piece. Like, Hilltop is pretty, like, Kingdom's trying to do this fair thing. Hilltop is pretty up for the fair, kind of wary, but they're like, yeah. And then, but then Alexandria's the piece that's like, nah, we're good. Nah, we can't do it. It's like, why though? Just, and like, I think in this episode at some point, I think Carol or someone says that, she basically says that all we would really want from you is for you to send a couple people over to, like, you know, I don't know, get in like the business side of it and like to like get shit done. And Michonne's still like, no. It's like, why can't you just send a couple people over? What's the hot, like, I think the thing that makes me the most frustrated is that I don't know what her fear is of like, because my original theory was that some other group or something got close and betrayed them and, like, I don't know, killed people, hurt people, stole things, like really set them back. And it's like, I don't know why she would fear that. She would pick that fear up and place it in this scenario. It doesn't make sense. But let's get on with the episode a little bit.
Connie.
See them, yeah, they're doing this, and Carol, all that stuff. Yeah, here's the one with Carol, and like, she just seems so cold to Carol for some, like, she says it was nice to see you and everything, but like, Carol is trying to be nice and like ask how everyone is, and like really just trying to talk her into like this being okay, and like the fair, you can do this, and like all we would need is this, and like, you know, she doesn't understand, and Michonne is just like, her mind is made up. Like, there's no one that can unmake her mind, and it's just like, but like, my biggest question is why can't we just do this? I feel like it makes so much sense to do it, and I feel like Michonne is just, her reasoning is like, you know why, and it's like, no, we don't know why, you know. And then Carol, I think, even brings up that, like, we've been through so much, like, we've both lost children due to this, due to the world ending, and like, we've, like, Carol and Michonne have known each other for a while. Again, they've known each other since about like the Governor season, and it's like, she's even trying to match with her on that and say, we've known each other for a long time, like, we've been through stuff, we'll always get through it. And Michonne is still just on the mindset of, no, I can't risk it. And in my mind, you're right, taking risks is hard, that's why it's a risk, but I don't see the risk here. If I saw a risk, I'd be like, you know what, maybe Michonne's right, but I don't see a risk. And they're here, they see more walkers. The wind is whistling, they can hear more walkers coming their way. Daryl is smart, he has like one of those old school clocks. Set the timer for it, that way it'll go off, and then all the walkers will be attracted to them. Attracted to the clock, and they can, you know, get some distance between them. Carol is leaving, going back to the kingdom. You know, they have their little touchy moment. Carol saying that, you know, she's proud of him and everything. That lady, don't remember her name, goes back with her. You know, just says that, you know, the kingdom needs her more than Hilltop does. They see that the walkers are here. But which doesn't really make sense that they kind of pass them again. But it does seem like they're going towards the clock, so they're like, it's fine. This is one of the hardest moments to watch. Like, one of the just, like, cringiest moments. And, like, I know people use that word way too loosely, cringy. Oh, it's so cringy. But, like, I only use the word when whatever I think is cringy actually made me cringe in real life. And this did. Because Henry really likes Enid, right? And so Henry's plan right here was to ask her, like, if like she wants to go eat or whatever, she wants to eat dinner together tonight. And he then saw that them two, well, I kind of skipped it on accident. Yeah, right here. Them two were kissing. And he's like, oh. Which sucked. you know, because like it already got uncomfortable when like, because like the one blacksmith there was like, hey, you doing anything? You want to come over and have dinner? And then he was like, no, I was actually gonna ask Enid if she wanted to do. And then right there I was like, oh man, come on, just what you do. And then it panned over to Enid kissing the one other dude. I don't remember his name. I think his name was like Austin or something like that. I don't know. And I was like, oh man, dude, oh that's rough, dude. That's an arrow in the heart. That sucks, you know. Then we're back here with Negan. Gabriel's finally had it. You know, Negan is still just talking away like he always does, and Gabriel kind of went off on him and just said, "Shut up for once in your life." You know, I've been trying to get, you know, inside of you and find a human, find a actual human being that I can have a connection with, and there just isn't one. So that was really funny. And then Negan sees this. He can tell that something has happened that made Gabriel act this way, because Gabriel doesn't just blow up like that. Like in the few seasons that we've known, how long have we known Gabriel? Probably since like season 5-ish, maybe even 4-ish. I think season 4 or 5 was the one that they went to the church and they found him. Gabriel doesn't really blow up, you know. He doesn't really do that. So Negan, being Negan is very, very, very smart, and he knows people very well, and so he could tell. And Gabriel spills the beans and says, you know, they found Rosita and they can't tell me anything, but, you know, which I wish they could, because they're saying that she's injured and she was found after walkers and all that stuff. So, which sucks. One thing that I noticed there, which I noticed at the time but I didn't think anything of it, was Gabriel slammed his cell door closed. And at the time, didn't really look like it closed. Or it looked like it closed, but I'm pretty sure you're supposed to lock the door to Negan's cell. I'm pretty sure it locks. And he didn't do that. And, but I pretty much just wrote it off as, you know, this dude right here who's like the bodyguard or whatever, who uncuffed Negan from the bars. I mean, the way they explained it, I guess he probably just like, you know, locked up afterwards, because, you know, he's kind of taking care of Negan's cuff, so I figured just locked up afterwards. Cuts back to this. Henry meets a few people. You know, meets a few people. They kind of say who they are, you know, whatever. They seem... I'm kind of wary of these people when I first met them. I'm like, I don't know. They're like a little too... And like, we've seen a similar story to where Ron... Remember Ron? How he got super close with Carl. I was like, hey, yeah, what's up, dude? What's up, Carl? You want to play some video games, my dude? And then we see later on Ron was trying to actively kill Carl and his dad. So I'm not saying these guys are going to do that, but I was very wary of them. I wasn't wary of her, though, that much, because she seemed like she was the one who kind of instigated this whole thing. You know, I think the other one, not him, makes a joke that, like, you know, she saw you sulking and, like, she was worried about you, and then she was like, oh, no, it wasn't really like that. I just, you know, wanted to make sure you're okay. So, like, she seemed like she cared, and, like, these two just seemed like a couple of buffoons that are just like, hey, yeah, let's just have a good time. Yeah, we're cool guys living on a thing. I don't know. That was my initial impression of them. It's not really that much, you know. And then my initial assessment is somewhat proven true, because then this guy's like, hey, we found this sick hangout and a sick hangout spot. We want to know if you want to go. And he's like, it's like outside of the gates and everything. And Henry is like, whoa, not sure about that, my dude. And he's kind of like, what are you, a little bitch? You know, you don't want to go outside the thing or whatever. And he kind of like peer pressures Henry to be like, yeah, we'll go. And right there, I'm like, something bad's gonna happen. Something bad is going to happen. You should not be going outside the gates. I don't care if someone thought less of me because I'm not going outside the gates. There's an apocalypse still going on. There are still dead people walking. I am not going outside of these gates at night. You have this all the way fucked up.
No, people would still be angry,
see them talking a little bit about like Maggie and like this whole situation here and everything, and Sadiq is trying to get through to her a little bit. It doesn't seem to be working. Then Rosita wakes up and she's freaking out. Michonne and Sadiq, as they would, are like, hey, it's okay, we found you, you're good. We have Daryl, Aaron, Jesus looking for Eugene. It's all gonna be good. They're probably on their way back right now. And Rosita's like, no, you don't understand, no. And Michonne was like, hey, this is these guys we're talking about. They can handle it. They're fine. Listen, Eugene's gonna be okay. And Rosita's like, no, you don't understand. They have no idea what they're up against right now. And at that, I mean, we obviously know that there's talking walkers. And we know that this is a little different than regular walkers. But obviously Michonne and Sadiq don't know that, and even if Rosita would explain it to them, Michonne and Sadiq would probably just think that she maybe like hit her head, or she's not thinking clearly, as someone would, Up here, this is where they apparently left Eugene. Eugene is down here in like a little hole under the hay. He says, he twisted his knee, all that stuff. And basically the thing to take away from this is that Eugene is like, they're gonna come back. We have to leave now. They're gonna come back. And Aaron is like, hey, no, it's fine. We saw them. They were going this way. They were attracted to this. We distracted them. They are long gone. There's no way. And Eugene is like, no. They're going to come back. They are looking for me. And then they're like, what are you talking about? What do you mean they're looking for you? And Eugene basically tries to explain to them that they were whispering to each other. They were communicating. And obviously you look at everyone else's face and they're like, what? Like, hey, Eugene, are you okay, man? Listen, we should probably we should get you back, go to the hospital, go to the, let Sadiq look you over, man. And it's that classic thing of like, no one, like this thing that happened is so crazy and unbelievable that no one believes it. And obviously it doesn't help that he's in a situation where he's hurt, he's been left here, he's scared probably. So they're probably just like, oh, it's just the fear, just in his head. It's just he hit his head, he's injured, that kind of thing. And us as viewers are like, no, you guys have every right to not believe him, but you should believe him, And so they start to leave, and they hear walkers. And they're and I don't know who says it, but I think it might be Aaron, who's like, impossible, there's no way. And I'm just sitting here looking at the TV like, yep, some of the stuff Eugene is saying isn't looking so crazy anymore, is it? And so we'll cut back to these guys. I don't like this. They're all drinking. I think they're drinking moonshine. It's like clear, which is rough. And I'm just like, these guys are no good. Henry's one of those people that like, I feel like at certain times he can get manipulated. And I really don't want, like, because he's here, he's in a new place, he's like trying his best, he's like, and like he doesn't really know anyone here, so I could definitely see him meeting these people who are like close to his age, who seem pretty chill, who seem pretty cool and everything, and like him unknowingly getting manipulated by these guys into joining in on their nefarious behaviors, and he already kind of has. And so they reveal that they have this pit that they dug, and a walker fell in, and now they just kind of have a couple of lengths of rope, and they just kind of play a game where they try to lodge a thing of rope over his head. Look at this. Look at how fun this is. Look at how nice, easy, definitely not dangerous in any way fun. And that's one of my favorite parts of this scene, is her walking away, because that right there, I'm like, all right, out of this group of 3 people, she is somewhat sensible, because she, the whole time, she was looking very worried. She was looking very non-approving. Listen, she'll drink. She will chill in a house outside of the walls. But when you start messing with walkers, you start like, nah, I don't approve of this, I'm leaving. And right there, I'm like, Henry, you need to distance yourself from these 2 people, and you need to chill with her, because she at least has some brains. And she basically diffed. I don't think we see her at all the rest of the episode. She was out. She was like, I'm not being a part of this. And he jumps down into the thing, he stabs the walker, kills it, and he's basically like, hey, what'd you do that for, man? And I think Henry is like, listen, if I have to explain it to you, you're not going to understand. And he's like, whatever, man, I'm leaving. Which I was very happy that that's how that went, because I feel like, especially with him being drunk, he could have gotten a little more emotional and wanted to like hit Henry, and like I didn't really need that. We're back here where they're arguing, or they're not arguing, but they're basically like, oh my god, how did this happen? There's no way that they should have followed us back, and Eugene is like, I'm trying to tell you, like, this is this, and Jesus is like, how's that possible? And Eugene has a very sciencey answer, and basically boils down to he has a theory that they're evolving, and they say, and I think it's still Jesus is like, there's no way they're evolving, they're dead, how can they evolve? And Eugene is basically like, listen, they're alive, like a hit to the head kills them, which means that the brain is still somewhat alive. And if the brain is somewhat alive and the body is still functioning, then that means that there's a possibility that these creatures can evolve. And then I think Aaron comes in and says, hey, listen, it's crazy, but them evolving and starting to talk isn't really much crazier than them being dead and coming back to life. Which at that point I was like, yeah, you're right. I feel like if a zombie apocalypse happened in real life, and we find zombies, it's been years and years, and then zombies start talking, I wouldn't really question it. I'd be like, you know what? Talking zombies is weird, but zombies in themselves happening in real life, definitely more weird than the already talking, dead, alive people. Like, happening, yeah. Zombies talking is definitely not weirder than zombies. And so again, Eugene tries to say, hey, you guys have to leave me, I'm slowing you down, everything like that. Every time we have to stop to catch our breath, they just get closer. Basically everyone volunteers to stay behind and draw them away, but then Daryl is the one who gets through to them and says, no, it's me, and he says, I'll probably beat you back. Saying that he'll probably draw them away and then still beat them back home, which is very funny. Negan loses his ball that he's been playing with, and I was just like, well, shit. Damn, it's loading, huh? And then it's like windy outside, which was already established earlier when the wind was howling, and they could hear the walkers and stuff. And then Negan kind of perks up. It's kind of like a dog when he sees something, his like ears perk up, because he hears rattling and kind of squeaking, and it sounds like the door. And then he goes over and he pushes the door open. And would you look at that? The thing I noticed, I'm not the only one who noticed it. I'm not trying to say like, I noticed it. Haha, I am the superior viewer. But no, like, I noticed that earlier. Whereas like, when I was actually watching the episode, he slammed it. And I didn't think about it for very long. I thought about it for maybe like 2 seconds where I was like, wait, he didn't lock the door. Like, shouldn't you lock the door? But then again, I just thought that it was just some like TV thing where it's like, oh, of course, there's still like that like guard in there. He probably, he was kind of in charge of like locking up and unlocking Negan from the bars. He probably locked up the door before he left. That's probably, because again, it was alarming to me that Gabriel didn't lock the door in that scene. But then, in my mind, Negan would have noticed it, and like, before it cut away, I feel like we would have seen Negan like smile or like glance over towards the door's direction or something to signify that he's like, wait, did Gabriel not lock the door? But no, nothing happened. So I was like, okay, did probably someone else try to lock it or whatever. And this happened, and I was like, oh shit, he's out. And then I don't know, it's probably symbolic of something, but he picks up the ball, looks at it, kind of like chuckles to himself slightly, throws the ball over his shoulder, and then he leaves the frame. I will talk more about that at the end of the episode, because that is one of two very, 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 very important things that happened this episode. The second one hasn't happened yet.
And then my booze.
So yeah, how Henry was drinking and everything. He made his way back to the hilltop, was kind of like knocking or like shouting at the guards at the gate, telling him to let him in. Tara locked him up because he was, I don't know, they like locked him up for because he was outside the gates when he wasn't supposed to be, and he was drunk. And this guy, who kind of is the one who Carol trusted to take care of Henry and look after him, is very, very disappointed in him. And basically says, listen, if this is how you're going to treat me, and you're going to be this disrespectful to not only me, but Tara and Jesus and everyone here who's letting you be here and everything like that, and like, trying to look after you and everything, then you might as well just make your way back to Hilltop in the morning. And Henry's like, no, I can't. And then Henry goes on this long thing about how like Carol and so many other people are not only, they're like trusting him to do the right thing, and him being here is apparently really, really important for, something or whatever. And he basically is like, no, I can do it. I'm sorry, blah, 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 classic. And this guy's like, all right, well, you're locked up there. You're locked up in here for 2 days. I will talk to Jesus when he gets back, figure out what we can do. But, you better just basically like think about what you've done. And, if when you get out of there, you're going to have a lot of work to make up. So, you might as well get some rest. And, and then he gets some rest, and he looks very like, he's definitely apologetic for what he did. Like, he's like sitting in the bed, he's like head in his hands, he's like, fuck, I can't believe I let my judgment slip for that half second that made me agree to go with them and drink, and can't believe it. So then you see this herd. Daryl has the thing, he throws firecrackers to try to distract them. They start coming in. And then I kind of skipped it. I kind of want you to see. Yeah, right here. He throws firecrackers, which is like, they're going to come. And then they just start leaving. And he's like, wait, what? Because generally, loud noises attract walkers. Like, walkers will flood to a loud noise. And they started to. And then for some reason, they just were like, no, I'm good. And they left. And rightfully so, Daryl's like, what? Like, we have never, no one, let me just keep broadening the amount of people. No one has ever seen walkers do that. To hear a loud noise, not only hear a loud noise, but see it. Like, it's only like a couple dozen, a few dozen feet away from the herd. And then be like, nah, I'm good. I'm out. Yep, they're coming here. They jump into like a cemetery type thing, and they did that because there's that like small opening right there that you just saw, and like they did that so that they can like funnel them off, a little bit, slow them down, because only one can get through that opening at a time. They can't get Eugene over this. It's just not possible. Walkers start closing in, and Aaron and Jesus are like, all right, we're taking a stand. And I'm like, all right, guys, it was nice knowing you. But they are slow. They were coming in one at a time, so I think that the flow of walkers is slow enough for them to take care of them. And they are taking care of him right now. We hear more walkers surrounding. I think we hear them talk there, maybe. And then we see Michonne, and it's like, oh fuck, Michonne made it to them. And then Magna is here, and she's like, what the fuck are you doing? And she's like, I'm earning my keep. And then she's also, I don't remember her name. I only know Magna's name because Magna was like a bitch, kind of. They can't open the gate because the dirt or whatever. Jesus tells Aaron to go help them. He's got this, and then he goes full like martial arts, fucking one-man killing machine type shit. And then let's make sure we see these last few minutes. These last few minutes are pretty important. Yes. Hold on. Fuck. Yeah, so he's like, whoop, got him. And he's like, whoop, oh shit. That walker juked the fuck out of Jesus and killed him. He said, duck, stab. And right there, that is the second moment. Yeah, so we're like, oh shit, the walkers are evolving. They can fight. Or at least some of them can. I don't know if all of them can. But, that look is just like Jesus being like, what just happened? Like, it is happening. It has already happened to Jesus. The stabbing has happened. And Jesus is still like, what the fuck was that? And everyone has the same face. They're like, what? And Aaron is obviously like, no, And there's a bunch of them. And more people come. We see Daryl. Daryl's here shooting them with their weapons. They're able to take them all out, basically. And let's fast forward just a little bit. Mourning a little bit over Aaron. Or over Jesus, I mean. Daryl spots something. Michonne comes over. We see this. We're like, sewed. And at that point, I'm like, so wait. People are like going into the walkers' brains? Are people somehow have the technology to like... And at some point, again, this is very far-fetched, but in the moment, I just couldn't understand what that meant. Like, in my mind, here's like the like train of thought my mind was at. It's like, oh, someone is... Okay, so there's a scar, there's like stitches and stuff, so someone obviously went into this walker's head, into its brain, and I was like, okay, so was someone somehow like replacing the brain, or like, I don't know, have some kind of technology to make him like a cyborg or something. I don't know where my brain was going, but that's what I was thinking. So I was like, oh shit, these are like advanced ass walkers. He cuts it open. I don't know what he's planning to find. But he's trying to find something. And then he takes his head off, and it's like, oh wait, it's a mask? What? And we find out it's a mask made of actual walker face, and we see a human. And we're like, oh. So there's some people, probably the Whispers, that is who we classify as the Whispers, who are wearing skin suits of walkers and are leading herds of walkers to kind of do their bidding and fighting for them. Very, very interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. I thought I pressed play and I didn't. Alright. And then we hear more whispers. There's obviously a shit ton of walkers outside still. And they are surrounded, it seems like. And that's where the episode ends. With these guys stuck. And that is the cliffhanger for the mid-season. Now, two things I want to talk about is one, with Negan. And I'm going to try to get through this stuff quickly because I feel like I ramble too much when it comes to this stuff. And I will look up Reddit right now to read some of their shit before we go. First thing with Negan. Trying to be as concise as possible. Negan is out. I don't know what his plan is. I was really trying to figure out for a while what Negan's plan is. I have no idea, guys. He's such a wild card because I think the first thing that comes to mind is that he's going to try to escape. But where's he going to go if he escapes? And how's he going to escape? Like, there's guards, there's people. People are aware of Negan. They're going to let him go. And if he escapes, where's he going to go? The sanctuary is gone, I think. Unless there's more people there, but I don't think that's how it was. But maybe he plans to go there. Maybe that'll be a thing. I don't know. There's still a whole lot of people at the sanctuary that didn't want Negan, though. There's just some that did, but there's a lot that didn't. So I don't think that's his plan. And then I thought maybe he could try to go into Michonne's house and do that. Maybe that'll yield some kind of plot point there. I don't know. I don't know what his plan is. I don't know if he has contact with anyone from the outside. Guys, I really don't know what his plan is. I don't know what benefits him the most. And that's pretty much it for my Negan hot takes, because there is none. I don't know what he plans to do. There's so many things that he could do, but I don't know which one benefits him the most. And then I think about it, and it's like, if his plan is to leave and go find someplace else, maybe find some more people, like, how does he plan on beating? Because, like, at that point, as soon as he escaped Alexandria, he is an enemy again. I mean, he still kind of is, but he's an enemy again. And so, like, I don't understand how he plans to beat anyone when he has nothing. Like, I don't. And then, like, in my mind, I'm like, I don't know what his plan is. I don't know where he's gonna go. Like, is he gonna try to go to someone's house, like Michonne's house, and try to? But again, I don't know what he would like. Negan isn't one to just kill. He's not one to just go on a rampage and just kill a shit ton of people. Like, there's always a reason and an end goal. And like, I don't know what it would be for that. You know what I mean? Like, so I honestly have no idea what Negan's gonna do. Please, if you have a thought as to what you think he's going to do, please throw it in the comments, because I have zero idea what he's trying to do with escaping. And then we have the end, where we have them surrounded by whispers. Now, that's interesting. I want to know how long they've known. How long the whispers have known about these groups, because I feel like they didn't just stumble upon our main cast today or yesterday or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like they did that. I feel like they've been watching them for a while. I want to know what their plans are, if they're just to kill. Like, I want to know what their motives are. I want to know where their base is, because it's somewhere. Yeah, and basically, other than that, like, it really, really sucks that Jesus died. You know, rip to Jesus, because he was a pretty dope character. And I'm glad that he got to finally go back to doing some dope stuff before he died, because other than the very beginning of Jesus, like, they, like, misused his character very greatly. Like, they misused his character, mistreated his character, because Jesus was introduced as a very badass, very resourceful character. But yeah, as in, like, what I think is going to happen next episode, we might see Negan again. I don't know what he plans to do. I mean, really, there's only, 3 possible things it's going to focus on next episode. Would be Negan, whatever he's doing. To a smaller degree, Henry, and what's going on at Hilltop right now. Possibly cut back to the kingdom. But probably the biggest one, again, Negan is very big, but I think the biggest one is what's happening, obviously, with that cliffhanger. And what's happening with the cliffhanger? Yes. So, because I don't know how they're gonna get out of that. Like, they're surrounded. Like, I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, if it was just walkers that was surrounding them, easy. Like we have people like Michonne and Daryl there, who are there, who have been in this group since the jump, and they are very good at having a group take out a very large number of walkers. They've done it. I remember when they took over the prison with just a few people, when they cleared out an entire cell block of walkers with just a few of them, and just melee. Like, they can do it. But now there's humans. Now there's humans there too. And I don't know how many humans there are. So, I don't know how they're going to get out of this one. The only thing I could... Well, none of the Whisperers seem to have projectile weapons, which helps. Because if they did, I would say there's little to no chance that anyone in that cemetery survives. But they seem to only have melee, which helps. A couple of our cast, couldn't think of the word, of our cast does have projectile, so that again helps even more. I just don't know how many there are. You know what I mean? I don't know how they're gonna get out of this. The only thing I could think of that would make it very easy and very plausible for them to get out is if someone comes to their aid. But I don't know who that would be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, Rosita is still there. The whole reason Michonne rushed out there was because of what Rosita told her. So maybe the plan was that Michonne goes out first as like a scout, just to kind of see, she can handle everything, and then Rosita sends, there's going to be another group coming to help, just in case what Rosita said was true, because again, they have no proof. I mean, Michonne has proof now, but, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know, guys. That's all I got on the next episode. I'll look at these things, and then we're out. Tracking strategies, going to skin color last walker, that was crazy. Crazy. When Jesus got juked by that walker, that was like one of the biggest oh fuck moments of the entire show. Because like it's something you didn't expect. I mean, obviously if you already, if you read the comics, then you're like, okay, something like that was bound to happen, And even me, who, I'm pretty aware of the Whispers just because I've seen little things about it. But like, I mean, when I say I'm aware of the Whispers, the most I know is that there are walkers that can talk. that's all I knew. So, I definitely stayed out of like the like comic spoilers and all that stuff. So I don't want to know any of that. But yeah, I was not expecting, because like Jesus was handling those guys. We were just about out. I feel like that gate was just about to open. Jesus was, Bruce Lee-ing his way, mowing down walkers, and there's one last one. He goes up for the swing, and this dude ducks under his arm, gets behind him, and it was just one fluid motion, stabs him through the back of the heart. Yo, and then him holding Jesus with his other arm, and Jesus just looking off into space and just trying his brain with his few final breaths, his brain trying to figure out what just happened. Like that, like I feel like out of all the stuff that you thought was gonna happen, there's then another group of stuff that you definitely did not think there was gonna happen, and then there's a small handful of things that you could not even, like, it wasn't even possible to think of these things as things that could happen in real life. And that was one of them. Like, out of all the things that could have gone wrong, all the things that, all the bad things that could have happened in that moment of like, oh no, yeah, my hand went straight into his mouth and he bit my hand off or something. You know what I mean? Like, even that is is something that, probably won't happen, but like, it could happen. I could miss, I could slip. Those are things that like probably won't happen, but like they could, and it'd be bad if they did. The last thing Jesus thought was gonna happen the moment after he takes that swing was the walker to fucking duck under his swing, get behind him, and stab him and kill him. That was the last thing. Seeing Aaron say fuck it and take a standing goosebumps, yeah, that was pretty cool. Aaron running out of dudes to fall in love with, that's pretty funny. That is pretty funny, actually. A lot of people are saying that Aaron's gonna be Rick 2.0, but then there was people saying that nah, he's not going to. That's not his role or something. I don't know. Jesus is dead just like that. Yeah, a lot of people were like, oh no, he died, and on one hand it does suck, because again, I feel like they really mistreated the character, because he was introduced as like this kind of badass, like he can fight, he's clever, he obviously has had a lot of experience dealing with other people, and then other than like his first couple episodes, right after his first couple episodes, we just didn't see him do anything ever again. Like, he was always just the guy standing next to Gregory or Maggie, and just kind of throwing in a few words here and there, but he didn't do anything. And it was like, I want to see him do stuff. And then these past few episodes, especially this one, he was fighting. He was like, he had a lot of dialogue. He had a lot of emotions and feelings and morals to discuss, and like, But I do like what this dude said, where or this dude or gal, it's honestly how the show used to kill people off, Game of Thrones style. You never see it coming. I think the same thing, because there have been way too many times, especially in the past few episodes, where we see the death, and not only that a death is coming, but we know exactly who's gonna die, like episodes before it actually happens, and we're just like, yep, you killed him, yep, saw that coming, we all knew it, it like it kind of takes away from, because I think one of the biggest, if not the biggest example of that is when we had the cliffhanger of them meeting Negan and the baseball bat, and it was a cliffhanger, and then we had like 3 months to theorize, and then like people were like breaking down the trailers with like math and like geometry and shit, and like by the time the second half of the season started, everyone knew that Negan was. We knew he was gonna kill Glenn, or we not only knew who he was going to kill, we knew that he was going to kill 2 people instead of 1. And then freaking, I don't know who said it, like, I think Scott Gimple came out and was like, no guys, 1 death is enough. We're not going to kill multiple people. It wouldn't make sense. Like, trying to hide it, like, yeah, okay, Scott. And then, what was the main consensus on the Reddit and on the, other places? It was, he's going to kill Abraham and he's going to kill Glenn. And what happened? He killed Abraham and then he killed Glenn. And, like, I still felt it a little bit because it still sucked that those people died. But, like, I was like, oh, wow. The Walking Dead community was right. Like, it kind of took away because, like, if they didn't give us that time and they didn't, like, telegraph who was going to die so hard, like, I feel like we'd have been like, oh, fuck, Abraham, no. Like, Abraham's so strong. He's so, yeah, fuck. No, Abraham, no. And then, we have a Negan been like, well, we gotta teach someone a lesson, and then him turn around and overhand hit Glenn in the head. We'd be like, oh shit, like that would have been a moment, but instead it was just like, oh yeah, killed Glenn, knew it, So, this is probably the spookiest episode. Yeah, it definitely felt more like horror, instead of like drama. It was the worst. Yeah. That is kind of a thing, right? Is that The Walking Dead hasn't really been scary since the first few seasons, where it's like, oh no, run away from the walkers, you know what I mean? And that does have something to do with the walkers not being a threat anymore, you know what I mean? Like walkers weren't even a thing anymore. I was really upset about Rick leaving. Generally interested, yeah, same. I think a lot of people feel that way, where a lot of people said that once Rick leaves, I'm not watching the show anymore, but it's really getting pretty good, honestly. Whispers are scarier. 15 minutes, pretty good. The fear of walkers is back. I agree. When Daryl held up the walker face mask, reminded me of every single episode of Scooby-Doo. Yeah. Well, did that armor have purpose beyond looks? I suppose someone with a pole arm would be likely to attack the front of the torso, but the protection from walkers was pretty much nil, and it obviously didn't. Yeah. That armor wasn't meant to, like, stop a bullet. Aaron blocked the walker's mouth with his fake arm. Just shows everyone should have properly armored forearms so that you're part of them. You smash their mouths and not worry. Yeah, okay. The ending was so good. Arguably a better introduction to Whispers than comics did. It fell in years. Eugene Rescue, that was good. Yeah. This is one thing that's very new for The Walking Dead, is that it doesn't seem to be like one person that were like, kill this person, like the governor or like the dude from Terminus, don't remember his name, or Negan. Like, it's not like a dude and like, oh, if we killed that dude, everything falls apart. Like, no, this is a group of people that can talk, and not only talk to, but control walkers. That is... Dude was delivering multi-kill combos. Yeah. I'm ready for these whispers, man. It's like Alexandria and Hilltop over there. That's pretty funny. I think the show managed to achieve something. Yep. Solid mid-season, slow, ripped Jesus. People pressed as walkers are scarier than... Yeah, people dressed as walkers are scarier than walkers. I'm appreciative that they discovered the whispers really instead of dragging it out the rest of the season. Yeah. Honestly, I don't really like talking bad about Scott Gimple because he did a lot of good with the show. But I feel like that's something Scott would have done. Scott, like, this mid-season finale would have been the season finale this season if Scott was doing it. I feel like he would have dragged it out. The Shadow Whisper dodging. One of the things that I say, I really mentioned the king. As much as she's been able to turn the show around. Yeah, I really hope that Angela knows how much we fucking love her right now. Alright, so yeah, that seems like it's pretty much the end. So yeah, let me know what you guys think is going to happen next episode. The half season is over, so we're not going to see it again until, I think Walking Dead comes back in February. Could be wrong. Let me know what you think is going to happen. Not only next episode, but what do you think the big stuff that's going to, any like hot takes for next half season? I don't have any. I feel like I could have came with some, but I don't know. But I'd really like to hear what other people think. What do you guys think about this first half of the season? I personally think that this first half season is better than any half of a season that we've had in the past, probably 3 seasons. So that's 6 half seasons. This has been better than, I think. And again, I'm not one that thinks that the past few seasons have been shit. Like, I think they've been worse, but I think they've also had some really, really good moments. And it's like, it's The Walking Dead. Like, we're watching a show about zombies. Like, how, you know what I mean? But, so yeah, let me know what you think about that. Again, Walking Dead is over for now, so I'm going to be picking up some new shows. If you have any shows that you want me to watch and to cover, I'll be covering more than one show, and I will also not only be covering live action, but other stuff as well. So any type of suggestion in regards to that would be awesome. So just let me know. Again, you don't have to, if you just watch whatever, it doesn't matter. But let me know. And again, a bunch of new stuff on the channel coming soon. A bunch of slightly different format, slightly different content, but still keeping the same content, but in just putting it in different ways, and hopefully not only more digestible, but more entertaining and more fun. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it. I will see you next week. I hope you have a good rest of your weekend. And yeah, let's all fucking pray for Stephen Hillenburg, rip to Stephen Hillenburg in real life, and rip to fucking Jesus in fake life, you know what I'm saying? So but yeah, I will see you guys later.